Words.
Yeah, we are two technically challenged
Yes.
aunties.
We
So three of us. So when strange things happen, just go with the flow. And if I disappear, which happens often because I live on a farm, so my internet is like really, it has a mind of its own, then yeah, just carry on. I'll come back.
Then we
we'll
carry
just
on,
carry
and I
on.
just pick up.
Yeah.
And if you lose us both, you just carry on either.
Yeah, no,
I'll
just
just
carry
carry
on.
on. I don't even know
Just
what I
roll
should be
on.
carrying on, and I believe we are live. Is that right?
Yes,
It's
we're
a
live. We're
We
it's
live.
a
are
Yeah.
Thursday
we're
live.
live now.
It's
It's
Thursday
the
live.
Thursday
Thursday
night
It's a
live,
live.
Wednesday
especially for
live on
you.
a Thursday. So, hi,
Great
Antonette,
stuff.
are you saying we live? And shall we start? Are we waiting
Cool.
for some people to join?
Yeah, I think there's one on already. But oh yeah, there we go. Mr. Miyagi is on. That's Cape Town.
So if
So yeah,
everybody can
hopefully you'll
just
get
pop in and
Peter.
say hello, where you're from, that would be great.
Yeah, great
And
stuff.
then we're going to stay. So welcome back, everybody. A Wednesday night on a Thursday, Paws and People with the two aunties. I'm Retha, for those that doesn't know, and
Antonette, hello.
Hello,
we
hello.
are talking about all things pet and people who love them. So, Antonette, you're going to
Great.
introduce our amazing
Yes.
guest tonight.
Yeah, I'm super excited and a little bit starstruck as well. I know I've said it before, but yeah, this is like a huge lineup. Dr. Peter Dobias, welcome. And in a few weeks' time, you're going to be in South Africa as well. You are a vet with 30 years, more than 30 years experience. You're originally from Prague, then moved to Vancouver, and now back in Prague again. You host a podcast, not just about dogs. You have rebuilt your whole practice around natural medicine after walking away from what you were trained. And we're super excited to going to have you here in South Africa in September. So welcome on the live.
Thank you so much. It's
Lovely to have
actually
you.
so lovely to be here, and I've been looking forward to it because before we started, we're talking about how important communication is and connection, and so any opportunity I have to connect with like-minded people, I really, really, really love it. Like I would drop anything. I would stop eating just for having a good talk. And that's
Yes.
why my plate is often full when we are in the restaurant, and I should eat and I talk instead.
Oh,
No,
no, that's brilliant.
I can testify to that.
Yes.
We spent a few breakfasts together.
Yes, that's
And
right.
dinner.
That's right. Yeah. And dinner. And we went to the restaurant in Mallorca where they didn't allow dogs. And that was an interesting story because, there was
Yeah.
someone who didn't
But
like dogs in the restaurant. And I just said, I'm going to just go and sit at the table with my dog and we'll have a nice evening. And they, they were fine with it. So when it comes to dogs, I like to fight for them.
but they in the end did allow him to be in with us.
They did allow
After
at the end,
yeah.
because I had a conversation with them.
No, it
And
was a little bit
every
of
country
a
is different, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
It's that for me is quite an interesting thing because like Cape Town is extremely pet friendly, but there's a lot of places that is actually not dog friendly and that you can't take your dogs with. And I remember when we just moved here, I thought, oh, there's this beautiful wine estate and we're gonna go with the dogs. And then you get then they say, sorry, no dogs allowed. And I think, gee whiz, you're pet friendly. Why can you not be pet friendly at the wine estate where you've got all these beautiful spaces to go? Yeah, so yeah, it's different. I get very annoyed when people say my pets are not welcome.
Yeah. I have a very simple solution. If you don't like dogs, I'm not your friend. I mean, like I'm polite, but I don't make friends with people who say, you can come for dinner, but don't bring your dog. I go, okay, well, my dog is either coming or not. I'm not coming. So it's
Yeah.
I think that we underappreciate dogs, right? And I appreciate any animals, in fact. But I think that dogs are very unique. What do you think? I think that they're just like a gift from the
No,
universe, or Yeah.
Totally,
Unbelievable.
totally. I think dogs are man's greatest gift, and they are absolutely here on this planet to teach us a lot of things. I honestly think I look at my dogs and actually all dogs that I get in contact with, and I always feel there's this for me, there's this connection and there's so much to learn from them about yourself, about a lot of things. So
Mhm.
dogs are amazing beings. I feel the same about horses as well. It is I've
Yes.
got a
Yes.
very emotional connection. There's something that I can't actually explain. I'm not a communicator, but I sometimes think I can actually totally understand and hear what dogs say. I need to tap more into that part of me because I do think I've got a I'm very in tune with dogs. But I cannot think my life without a dog in my house. It will be a disaster. I will not survive, really not. So
Yeah, it's like we are different human beings. We had a little dogless period. We had my partner and I had three dogs at one point and two cats, and then we scaled it back to two dogs, and then we had just one dog because we started traveling between Europe and Canada. So that became a little more difficult to have more than one. But then when Sky died, our kind of like our first border collie, he actually we were dogless for 2 years because we just could not really imagine replacing him. And we thought that there would never ever be another dog that we would love equally and would be as awesome. And then Pax came, which who came to Mallorca as well for that. So
oh,
he was very sweet.
for everybody that's listening, I've just got to tell you, I fell so in love with that boy. He is the most gorgeous dog, and we had a thing that somebody I can't remember who did the talk with the balloons
Oh my
at the
goodness, it was
conference.
my fault. That was my fault. And I can give everyone a story if you want to, because I felt so awful. So we were talking about hormone replacement therapy, and I was trying to explain what the metabolic function is without testosterone and estrogen, without the hormones, because they affect every cell in the body. So I had the stupid idea, to take two balloons and have people inflating them. And I inflated them just a little bit, and then everyone else was inflating, and the one who had the biggest balloon would get a prize or something. So that was part of it. And obviously people are really keen to get the prize, and one of the balloons bursted, and Pax got really scared.
Oh,
Cats were
Luckily we
lying
had
at my feet. He was
oh
lying
oh
at my feet, and the girl next to me, behind me or next to me, his balloon popped. And this poor boy had the biggest fright ever. And I felt so bad.
mm,
And then for the rest of the day, he avoided me. And I thought,
I
it
don't
wasn't
did
me.
he? I don't think
Yeah,
that
he was, he was,
I
he was, he was
he was
very
just frightened.
skittish. Towards the end of the day, it was better again, but he had a huge big fright. I mean, that poor boy, I had such as it was terrible. But he is the kindest dog in the world, I think. So
He is,
yeah.
he's got his little, he's got one frenemy in Vancouver. It's Jack Russell from London that actually now lives in Vancouver. And he is pushy, pushy, pushy. So they have a little scrapple once in a while. They kind of like, Pax likes to avoid him. But the other, Jack Russell's like when you bring them
Oh no, they
in the
don't stop.
equation, it's like it doesn't end well often. So
oh,
I know. And we had like a whole bunch of healers at the conference, so he got like aromatherapy and rescue remedy and homeopathic remedies, like he
Everything
got
else was
everything.
actually
And
good.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he's sound sensitive, that's for sure.
So,
Yeah.
so tell us, what does a morning with gorgeous Pack looks like before you
Oh,
start working and before we start working. Tell us, what does a morning
okay.
with Pack look like?
Well, like it's not an exaggeration if I say that my day in my life evolves around PAX. And one of the reasons why we love to be in Prague is that in the summer, we usually go to a flooded quarry that is just about 20 minutes away from here. And Europe is very free, unlike North America, where everything is constructed and there are signs and you can't do this, you can't do this. This is like a quarry that officially is closed for legal reasons, but everyone can go there and nobody minds. And so maybe usually like 2, 3, 4 people swim there. And so Pax and I go, and he likes to fish, and there's fish, and I go swimming. And Czech Republic is very liberal, so I just need goggles. I don't need any swimsuit or anything, and everyone is like that, and all ages. So it's kind of giving me a little bit of a sense of how free we can feel when nobody else cares. And then we stop swimming and go back home, and he gets a raw meal, vegetables, his supplements. And then I work a little bit. Then in the afternoon again, there's another walk. And sometimes it's a city park walk or something like that. I like to go to the gym to torture myself. And then I have a lot of friends and family from the past and some new friends. So sometimes we just go for a little meal or something. Prague is just really, in comparison with Vancouver, that is like an impressive city for most people who go there. Prague has a soul. The architecture is just beautiful. I recognize how different people behave when there's like public transit and not as much stress, and dogs are free to roam among people and make friends, and there are babies and mothers and dogs, and so that's often our day. Today, I went to a park that is just like a beautiful park that was established about 150 years ago by a person who was just really enthused about creating a beautiful sculpted park with waterways and amazing trees, like very unique trees. And the park changes throughout the seasons. And it's another really beautiful, beautiful area. There's so much to do. And Vancouver is, there's a lot of restrictions. You can't take dogs to the beach, and you can't have dogs off the leash often. And everyone tells you what to do. And I'm just so not really enjoying that. So,
you enjoy South Africa. It's like the Wild West.
oh, I know. And Dr. Sally Armstrong is kind of like an expression of South Africa. I think, even though she's Australian, she really embodies South Africa. I can see that.
No,
And
totally.
Retha too. Absolutely. So
Yeah. Have you got like a
So that-
picture in your mind of South Africa, of what
What
to
was that?
expect here? Have you got like a picture in your mind of what to expect? Because you've not been to South Africa before.
Oh, wow. You know, I know quite a few South Africans from Vancouver. A lot of people from South Africa live in Vancouver.
Mm.
Do I have a picture? I like surprises. So I don't think that I thought of it that much. I know a few pictures of Cape Town. I do not really have an idea of Kruger Park in Johannesburg beyond a few photos and a few videos from there. I imagine it being really vibrant and wild, and maybe a little complicated but beautiful. Like people say, it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So I take that, and I feel really excited. Yeah, I feel excited.
Cool.
So here's the deal. Exactly now in a month's time, at this time in a month's time, we're done. The summit is over. And we're going to be sitting having dinner. And then we're going to ask you to give your comment on what your thoughts was today and what it was at the end. And then we'll hear what
I'm
surprises
going to
you.
I'm going to ask you to repeat the question. I as an ESL person, I have a little challenge with the South African accent, even though I have quite a few South African friends. But that's, it's
I'm
like,
too far.
so please.
So the challenge is, or the deal is, in a month's time, at this time, we're going to be finished with a conference, and we're going to sit and we're going to have dinner, and then we're going to ask you again if what you thought in your picture in your head was about South Africa, and you're going to tell us how does that compare?
Oh, okay. Well, it's my homework then. I have to create a picture in my head before I go.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, it's wow. I promise I won't be
A
watching
challenge.
any. I won't be watching any YouTube videos in South Africa because I don't want to cheat. But I will. Okay. Yeah. Sure. That's a good
Cool.
deal. I promise.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Right.
just guys, before we start, just a quick note: the police is in the house. Quick note for everybody listening: tonight is a general information, not a prescription for your dog, nor here to replace any veterinary advice, or nobody stops any treatment because of this podcast. So just to know, this is advice and informative for all our pet owners and our audience. So I want to say the vet that changed his mind, if I can call you that. You've trained conventionally, Peter, in Prague, in a system that had an answer for everything. What was the case or the actual dog that made you stop trusting what you've been taught?
Wow. I actually started even earlier because my grandfather was a herbalist. My maternal grandfather was a herbalist, and my father was a conventional veterinarian. So I was exposed to both sides from very early age. And when I started suffering allergies and hay fever when I was a teenager, and I couldn't breathe through my nose for maybe 6 months, a year, and I was on antihistamines and I was on all sorts of different pills, and nothing really worked. And I don't really know what made me. I think that the universe has a plan without us really having a lot to change or being able to change. I went to library maybe when I was 19 or 20, and I started studying allergies, and I basically cured my allergies with dietary changes at 19. And now when I'm thinking about it, that was crazy. And then I went through vet school and I moved to Canada, where I lived for 35 years. And I was completely brainwashed again. Like, I basically forgot about everything. And I was using conventional medication. I was one of the, you'll laugh, I was one of the top sellers of processed pet food, special veterinary diets called Medical. I lived in Whistler, BC, which was a ski resort. And my colleague and I, we worked there and did emergencies and large animals and small animals. And then one day I had a golden retriever coming in my practice. His name was Skokie. He was 2 years old. And as soon as his mom sat down, she started crying. And she shared with me that the specialist that she saw recommended Skokie's ear canals to be removed because he had chronic ear infections. And, I looked through the file and I could see that everything was done. And I was feeling really lost because I didn't think that there was anything else that I could do. And so whenever I was frustrated, I would, after work, I would go skiing. And I called my friend Terry, who was who is an amazing dog lover, and she was feeding Raw. And we were kind of sitting on the chairlift, and I was sharing the situation with her. And she says, "Peter, why don't you just put this dog on raw diet?" I go, "Raw diet? Are you kidding me? Raw diet is dangerous." And then I remember that our dachshund, her name was Gerda. She was, I was born nearby the German border, and her name was Gerda. There you go. Anyway, she used to eat raw food, and she was fine. So I said, okay. So I called Monica, the dog mom, Skokie's mom, and I said, why don't we just try this? And in 1 month, Skokie was 50% better, and in 2 months, he was fine. He was fine. And so then it didn't take very long. Then we moved freezer in the clinic, and I started studying homeopathy, and and kind of started looking into different ways of treating. And over time, it's not that I sometimes do recommend medication, but I have three categories of drugs. One of them is hormones like thyroid hormone or testosterone or estrogen, which need to be replaced when they're missing. And if the body can't make them anymore, metabolically, this is really important. Then there are the crutches, right? The antibodies that we don't like to use and overuse so much in practice. It doesn't really need to be used 95% of the time. And then there are the steroids and suppressive anti-inflammatory medications that basically put the body's immune system to sleep, the defenses to sleep, and then the disease goes on deep, deep, deep inside. And so this is something that I try to remember. The other day, I had a little online live session, and we were talking about Herring's law of cure. And Herring's law of cure is about the centrifugal force in the body. The body talks with superficial symptoms mostly, especially when dogs are young or our animal friends are young, or when we are young, right? Like we would have pimples and we have rashes and all that stuff. And as we age, or as our dogs age, the disease or the imbalances get driven deeper inside. And when we actually use these suppressive drugs, we drive the disease deeper inside, and people don't see it. So they're thinking, okay, everything is fine, but it's not. And when you start treating, usually the ear problems or the skin problems and rashes start coming up, right? So that's the Herring's law of cure. And if you drive everything deep inside, then it's the organ failure, it's the cancer, it's all those really serious problems. But weirdly enough, so many people are concerned about the pimple or the little bump, right, on the skin. They're not as concerned about liver disease or maybe metabolic imbalances because it's not visible. And often it's kind of frustrating.
I think for me, from a pet parent's point of view, is I can do something about the pimple. Or someone can do something about the pimple.
I think so.
But I think so because I'm not a vet, so I think that's where most pet parents are. Is please, I love my dog. I want to help my dog. Can we fix the superficial?
Yeah, can we fix?
Because that feels like I'm doing something, but the deeper down is where we need people like you. System. Okay, we can fix the pimple, but we need to fix that thing underneath as well and address that.
Yeah. Well, you're saying we need people like you, but I would say we need people like you because I think that's my whole goal is to actually make healing really simple. And there's nothing better than having a dog parent or a pet parent that is empowered. I have this client, longtime client. She's no longer my client because I'm out of the clinical practice in Vancouver. The story is really simple. They didn't want me to get my supplement brand and the practice and have the license together with the supplement brand. I would have to basically close it. And I decided that the online work is kind of like reaching more people. So I stopped practicing at a certain point. And I'm still licensed in the European Union, but I no longer have a clinic. But this client, she is visually impaired, and she's one of the most bright and amazing beings. I just love her. Her name is Joan. And Joan has had about 4 seeing eye dogs in the course of me seeing her. And the first dog lived like maybe 10 or 11 years, and the second one 13. And then now her oldest dog is like, I think 17. And she doesn't need me anymore. We connect once in a while because I miss her. But it is so lovely to actually see how she gets it, right?
Yeah.
And then you may have some, especially family members or close friends, who you see their dog suffer or they suffer, and they're close-minded. And the close-mindedness, like, we have to get used to it because it's part of our life. I'm sure that it's part of your life. And I'm hoping that as things progress and become more common knowledge, that it's going to be easier. And then this is one of the reasons why I was saying that we need people like you, because you're spreading the news as well. And everyone who's listening and watching today and will be at the conference, that's where the change happens. It's not a one person or two people, but it's the community, the pack.
That is the important word. It's the community, because you feel we're in almost like a propaganda war, I feel sometimes, and it's like, who is shouting the loudest to get their message out? And if you're in a community that is supportive and has science to back up and years of experience. Retha, I hope you don't mind, Retha, but I think since this is kind of feeding in nicely into how I want to tell my vet I feed raw, but I don't want it to end up in a big fight. So maybe if you can give our listeners some tips as to how to address that and how to speak with your vet about, I'm feeding my dog raw, or I want to feed my dog raw without the conflict. Maybe if you can give us a few tips there.
Wow, really good. Even though I'm not as familiar with South African veterinary culture, I assume that it's probably very similar to what I'm used to. And I think pet parents need to remember that veterinarians are at their service. We are service providers. We're not their bosses. We're not their parents. We're not we're not there to guilt them and guilt trip them and tell them what to do. We're there to suggest what may work. And then I think that people are like chemicals. If you feel that you mix well with your veterinarian and your veterinarian listens, that's the perfect ideal situation, or is open-minded and already there. Amazing. If you're a veterinarian somewhere on the fence, or just kind of thinking, I don't really like this, then I'd probably have a very honest, open conversation. I'd say, listen, I respect you and I really would like to continue our connection here or relationship. But I've made my decision about my dog's food. There is now research and science that actually confirms what that raw diet and maybe cooked diet, for those who are a little afraid of raw diet initially, is much better, and that there is like a gene expression, microbiome, allergy reduction. Like there's so many different research studies now that it is not a question whether it's good or not. It's a question whether your veterinarian knows or not. And so you can provide some of these. I'm sure that Retha has materials. You, Antonette, have materials for your community. And I really would. And if the vet is actually, not pleasant about it, I'd probably just make either you have to find someone else, or just say, why don't we just make an agreement that we won't talk about it? And I want you to collect my dog's blood work. I want you to examine my dog. I want you to tell me if my dog is healthy or not, but let's not talk about diet. Right. And I don't really know. I catch myself actually being a little bit like that when I go to my doctor. I catch myself sometimes to be a pleaser. But, it happens often that conventional medical doctors, whether veterinarians or human doctors, are the level of brainwashing is just so insane. Dr. Karen Becker and I, when we have these chats together, we're similar but different in a way. We blend well, but we get so frustrated with some of the challenges. And at the same time, I think that we have to be respectful. Like we are all on different journey or a different path, and we're not any better. We just have a different opinion. And opinion is just an opinion. It's not necessarily truth or our truth. But when you start seeing scientific studies and research, it's undeniable. So that may be actually truth, right? But the opinion itself is not a truth unless it's backed up by something. But we also overvalue in veterinary medicine generally, research studies, because experience, 30, 40 years of experience is probably more than any other research study that will be canceled 5 years later, right? So it's just like, it's really interesting. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
sorry,
so.
I've got a very strong belief that research studies has got many, many outcomes. And the outcome is very, very often determined by the person who pays the bill.
Yeah. I'd like to, for example, Dr. Anna from Finland. I can't pronounce her name, so I will try not to. But she's an obviously highly acclaimed researcher of raw diet. I really trust her integrity, right? But yeah, of course, like there is evidence that research studies are sponsored by someone, and then right, let's not talk COVID. Let's not talk. Even though it just like I talk to myself now. I just said let's not talk COVID, even though my mind went there. So I do my best to listen, and then I go, let's not talk COVID today. But it's I think that raw diet is like COVID, right? But a little further. Like COVID was like so misrepresented, and it's all coming through now. And I have one saying, and for those of you who are listening here and saying, I feel like I'm alone in the world of processed bad food and so on. I really strongly believe that the people who are considered insane today will be the only sane ones tomorrow, and I'm certain of it, right? But we don't.
I think history is probably proof of that as well.
What was that?
History probably proves that as well. If
Galileo Galilei, right? Or whoever else. Like it's
but
everywhere.
What would you, if you had a conversation with a vet that is like super, like this is just a whole lot of nonsense? What would that conversation look like with that vet?
You mean as a dog parent or as a veterinarian?
No, you as
as a dog parent.
Yeah.
Have you ever been have you been ever stuck in mud with your car or snow? Probably not in South Africa, but mud.
Yeah.
I don't like to spin my wheels. There's plenty of road somewhere else.
Okay, I get
it. To say that though, just recently, one of my colleagues, Dr. Laurie McCauley, who is a board certified sports medicine specialist and rehab, she asked me to make a 20-minute lecture on why raw diet is good to conventional veterinarians. So I basically presented the research and the science, and also my own experience. And I showed some examples of raw-fed dogs, including mine, and saying, does he look malnourished? Does he look sick? Does he look like he's got poor coat and, and is muscle wasted or whatever else? But I think it's waste of time actually for people who are not really open-minded to try to convince them. If someone, I think it's really good sometimes to reverse the roles. It's a good practice, because imagine that someone like the kibble feeder, the kibble feeding veterinarian, would come to you and try to convince you that kibble is the best. And because you already have an opinion and your own world that you live in, it would probably be very difficult. But the difference is that raw diet is what nature intended. So there's the other step. Maybe you could just tell your veterinarian, when I'm not sure, I just like to go back to nature. And if someone took an intestinal tract of a deceased dog and deceased wolf, we would not be able to distinguish those two. Nobody could guess it. So, it would be a really good discourse, like a good friendly discourse. Like we could, maybe, I don't normally drink beer, but a lot of people drink beer here. Like we would probably go for a beer and just talk about kibble and raw diet. I don't know. Or go for ice cream, or I would, I don't know. Like, I don't, maybe it's just me.
Do you know that the one thing I think about always is what we stand for is like, we want to present the information and the credible information and the science, but if you're not ready to take that in, then you can't make someone ready. And I think that is a personal journey for every person. And I mean, my journey with raw feeding and exploring more of natural and integrated vet care for my dogs is my journey. And everyone's trip looks different. And I think we need to kind of hold space for the people a little bit and take the judgment away.
Yeah. The only problem is that there is a third being involved, and that third being cannot make decisions for themselves.
Yes.
And so, and so I do believe that we need to not fight, but work really hard for the animal friends. And especially when they're unwell. And, sometimes you see people who really love their dogs, and their dogs aren't well, and they have skin problems and organ disease, liver disease, diarrheas, the whole gamut. And they're worried. They're afraid. Like I've heard some people saying it, and I'm afraid that something will go wrong, right? Oh, there's a lot of things going on already. So.
Yeah.
I think from that perspective, you said something earlier that made me remember when I just started Possum Raw. I had an argument with, it was on the social media that somebody, a vet, attacked me about raw. And I basically said she said to me, she challenges me to be on a raw diet for a month. I said, what do you mean by raw? Eat raw. She said, eat raw meat, eat raw veggies, whatever. I said, game on. But then there is something else that you need to do. You need to eat only cereal for a month. And then we'll see who's going to be more healthy. I've never heard from her or whatever, and never ever made any comments or attacked the raw scenario again. So, yeah.
I like that. Glycemic curve, diabetes ready. Let's just ship her an insulin bottle with it.
And
it's actually. Yeah, go ahead.
It's very daunting out there as a pet parent. And I mean, I am educated and I believe in raw, and I'm very, 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 I can stand my grounds. But I know how daunting it's been for me when I've taken my dog to a vet once, and he hooked his toenail and ripped it out. And the vet said to me that it's because he's on a bad diet. He's not on a properly balanced diet. And I remember standing there and I'm thinking, sometimes it's just not worth putting the energy in. You've got to pick your battles.
Absolutely.
And don't let it upset you and just walk away. There's times that you've just got to walk away. But it's difficult to find vets that support this. There's really it's difficult to find vets that support raw feeding.
It's actually, it's going to take some time. I think it's a little more common now in North America, but it really has taken 20 years, maybe 25, right? It's an interesting one. I think that the argument is that there is species appropriate diet. And while probably, the early humans ate raw meat, we are not really raw meat eaters. We haven't been raw meat eaters very often. Some people like steak tartare and nobody objects to it. Suddenly it's fine. I think you'd be surviving just fine on raw meat and vegetables, Aretha.
Survive on sushi and steak, Toto.
Oh,
Very well.
absolutely.
I can absolutely
Absolutely.
survive on it. So I mean, it's quite a silly thing to say, I dare you to eat raw meat, only raw meat,
Mm.
and see how healthy you are, because I can do it, and I know I will be healthy, because
Yes.
it is, yeah, it is okay. There is sourcing and things like that, because I do think we're not cavemen anymore, and we don't have the intestinal strength, and there's a lot more bacteria driven things that we can't handle. So yeah, you've got to look, and it's in anything with raw dog food, human food, you've got to know where your source is, because we don't give diseased animals to pets as raw meat, because it is not, you've got to be wise about it as well. So
Absolutely.
another thing that happened a few weeks ago is that one of my clients that's pregnant went to a vet with her dog that had diarrhea. And the vet actually told her that she's going to lose her baby. She's going to miscarriage if she keeps on feeding raw. And things like that makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Because do you not do that pet parent not cook for themselves, or do they just get cooked food? Or it's such silly arguments. But and if we as people that's informed and that is we know, we sure, and I've got confidence in what I'm saying. If I can get intimidated, I feel very sorry for the pet parent out there that is already scared because their dog is not well, and now they've got to face this conversation with a vet that says the diet is the source of everything, and 99.99999% it is not diet related. So
Yeah. I think that I think when you're going for a really long journey, and you know that it's going to be hard, and you know that it's going to be ups and downs and valleys and rivers and floods and mud and all that stuff. That's how I see it. It kind of never ends, but I do think that it has changed quite a bit, and there is much more when it comes to the education materials and their books. And the other thing is, I'm not sure how we deal with social media, but I will confess that I have one colleague. I'm not going to name them, but I have one colleague, and they say, there are so many haters, and I just, sometimes I'm worried to come out of my house because, and what I do? I actually don't read comments. I use social media for letting people know what I've learned and try to share the information, and that's it. And my team, when there is like a relevant question, they actually they say, hey, there's a question about that, and they give me a copy, and I'll reply or record a recording. But I really don't read comments, and maybe it's bad. Maybe
way. No, it's a brilliant way.
And so my world is kind of weird because it's almost like a little cocoon where I just go swimming with my dog, then I work, and I have my silly ideas about what could be done, and then learn from podcasts and research studies, and so for me it's like a discovery in a jungle. Sometimes it's a little surprising. But it's it can be really unhealthy and very, very damaging, I think. And we just need to create our own world and be with people, like-minded people. How good it feels to be here together, right? And with everyone else who I can see. But it's just really nice. Yeah, it's just really nice.
I must be honest, that is one of the reasons why I think the African Pet Health Summit is so important for me, is because you are in a room filled with like-minded people, and the energy that you get from that is so powerful. 3 weeks ago, I went to integrate a veterinary summit conference in Stellenbosch. And I mean, I'm not a vet. I am a pet professional in terms of a pet nutritionist, but I walked in there and I decided I'm going to go because, and the energy that you get from that, where you actually sit there and you realize you're not alone. There's more people that feel like you, and that there's actually, there's all these vets that actually feels the same way you do, and we're learning from each other in terms of how do we care best for pets and animals. It was not just for small animals, it was for production animals and things like that as well. And some of the talks went way over my head, but it was so important and it was so powering, and I felt empowered when I came out of it. So from that point of view, look for like-minded people, because that's how we actually support each other. And you've got somebody that I can go to and say, Antonette, this vet has done this to me, or let's not bash just vets, but this has happened, and we can support each other to get through things and get solutions for our dogs and actually for ourselves as well. So it's really important to be surrounded by like-minded people. It's so important. Because
that's what life is about, right? I think that this is another really amazing lesson from our dogs, that they bring us together. They, even dogs, when you look at their behavior, sometimes they love another dog and another time they don't get along. And so why do we expect to get along with everyone? Like, we don't really need everyone to like us. We don't really need everyone to be our friend. We don't really need everyone to agree with us. And but we do need to say, hey, I was wrong. Like, when I was the top seller of kibble in the mid-90s, it's like, really? It's pretty silly. Yeah.
But I think that's all you can really ask, is to always evaluate and your own thinking, and to challenge and to ask better questions and to educate yourself, and then do what's best for you.
I agree with you, Antoinette. Yeah.
Retha.
Brilliant.
Retha.
We need to,
Are you going to do the collar bit? Yeah, I can hear you.
I want to do the collar bit. Because I feel it's something, and we can do it. We can keep it so something. So I actually want to say to all the pet parents, go fetch your dog's collar. And
collar.
Okay.
Collar.
Yes,
okay. That's the
collar.
Got it. I thought it was you were talking about colors, and then it's
collar.
I have my accent is a blend. It's a mongrel of Czech and English.
Beautiful. So I think it is. This is a fascinating topic for me, and I've always been very, very tuned with that and how people say it. So I want to make 5 statements. Okay, and I'm going to give you 20 seconds for each statement that I've made, that you can comment on it, rectify it, or tell us, give your version of this statement that I make. So the first one that I want to say.
Should I say agree, or should I say agree, or should I I don't want to correct you, but unless
no. It's gonna be a basic statement. I want to give your view on the statement that I make. So if you agree,
got it.
But you're not going to agree.
Express an opinion, basically a very quick opinion. It's no problem, because the guy in here is really noisy sometimes. I have to shut him up. So he's gonna be, I'm sure that he's gonna be absolutely fine.
So the first statement that I want to make is, a collar is just for holding a tag. It can't hurt anything.
I love it, love it, love it. That's exactly what I would say. Oh, it can't hurt anything. Oh my goodness, no.
It cannot hurt anything.
I'm hearing the first thing, right? Because I see the glass half full. And oh my goodness, collar is actually the cause of so many problems in our dog's body. I can't even start. Like paws and digestive issues, and hypothyroidism, injuries of nerves, paw licking, leg granulomas, and nerve injuries are now proven to be actually predisposing factor to cancer. There's a blog on my website, and there's a whole process, biological process that actually leads to cancerous growth. And I've seen that in practice for a long time, but now there is a study that confirms it. So don't get me up. See, like you started with collars, and now I go on and on and on. So I'll shut up.
Yeah, no,
That's what I
I'll
think
let
when
you off the first one, but next time I'm just gonna go beep, and then your time's finished.
Okay.
Okay, the
Tell me
next
how
one.
many seconds I have, and I'll count
20.
the seconds. I'll be fine.
20.
20. Okay.
Where's my
Okay.
phone?
Okay, if my dog isn't coughing, the collar isn't bothering him.
Wrong.
Oh,
was
that
5
one I hear
seconds.
Yeah, no,
this
that
is-
was literally 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, next one.
All right.
A retractable lead gives my dog more freedom, so it's so much kinder.
It is one of the most dangerous things that I've seen for many reasons, from injuries to dogs running into car traffic and and getting tangled and cut. And
Okay.
you've gone to my website. Are you teasing me, giving me all these different things?
Okay, only big pullers are at risk. Small dogs are fine.
Wrong. Everyone gets injured, but bigger dogs get injured more because they're stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is one that I feel very strong about. Any harness is better than a collar.
Not. Well,
Thank you.
not.
Oh, this is such a big thing for me.
Did I make
Because,
it?
no.
Did I make your evening by saying that?
You've made
I'll tell
my
you-
life, not just my
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the halty, the for example, the nasal harness, like it'll distort your dog's neck like crazy, and it can cause a lot of problems. And some harnesses will not fit well, and they will. It's just it can act like a collar if it's not designed right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can have a whole hour's talk. Actually, I think we can have a whole day's talk about harnesses and the damage and the things that can go wrong with our harness.
And I will be actually at the lecture that I have on ear conditions. I'll be talking about that a lot as well. So anyone who is listening and has not registered yet, please do. I'd love to meet you in person.
So that's something you've said it for years, that a dog's neck is one of the most vulnerable places in the body and one of the most ignored. For someone that's actually hearing this for the first time, what is actually sitting underneath that collar, under that collar?
Now you're challenging me to remember my anatomy, but I will tell you what's actually the main structure. So it's the vertebrae, obviously, with the spinal column and the nerves that come out of it. So that's, the nerves supply all the different front parts of the body mainly, but there's also vagal nerve that goes to the organs from the neck and through the neck. And the heart, the lungs, the digestive tract, even the kidneys, and all the different organs are actually affected by the vagal nerve. And people don't realize that when the neck is injured, it can actually cause digestive issues, right? And so when I see a dog that is a real mess, often they have a neck that is really injured or is out. There's also the thyroid gland that gets traumatized by the collar. And when tissue is traumatized, the immune system goes, okay, inflammation, I have to remove it. And it removes the cells that produce thyroid hormone. So it's another issue. Obviously, collapsing trachea and the structures of the trachea, congestion of the head. Like, I'm going to suggest everyone to actually take their hands and Retha, do it now. Just kidding. No, I'm being silly. I don't mean it. I'm not that bossy. I'm just playful and just pull. just pull, right? Like you'll feel the
Yeah.
blood pooling in your head and in your ears and eyes and in your brain. You
Yeah.
know, who knows?
But
Who
I feel
knows?
like I can't breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Breathing, but also blood circulation. It's really unhealthy. And we don't put babies on a collar and retractable leash, and they sometimes need to be put on something, on a harness, right? But it would be really silly to put a baby on a collar or another person. I guess there are some people who like to do that, but that's not the topic of today's conversation. I mean, most people would think that being really weird to have a baby
Yeah.
on a collar. And
Exactly.
it's so medieval. But if you do have your dog on a collar, if you've been using collar until now, please forgive yourself until this very moment because you did not know. And now now you understand. Now we'll have the collar police going around Cape Town and South Africa and showing the finger. Actually, not really, but
God.
the funny part is, like, I was interviewing someone for a position in our company, and twice I had the finger coming out like this, right? Like, someone basically, the interviewed person was pointing the finger. I go, I don't like that. Like, that's really.
Yeah.
But when it comes to collar, everyone is allowed to use that, right? Like,
So I've got a
anyway.
confession to make. So
Uh-huh.
my beagles are now 11, 12, and 13. And when I started, everybody said, because that was now 12 years ago, 13 years ago. In puppy school, do not use so I've never in my life used a choke chain, because I think that's just
Yes.
pure whatever. But I was showing my dogs, my beagles, some of them I was showing. And my dogs got taught very quickly how to walk loose lead with something that is like a slip chain and a slip
Yes.
knot, a rope.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I've never had dogs pulling. I have never had dogs pulling, but I'm
Wow.
so worried that they're going to pull that I give so many treats that they learn very quickly to walk loosely.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we was in a situation where there was a dog that challenged my one beagle, and we were on lead, and I had to pull it away. And to get it out, I pulled the lead and picked it up, almost picked it up on the lead. And I remember how horrible I felt. But it was a matter of, I did not know how else I'm going to save my dog from the situation that was going to come in. And that made me stop going to public parks, because I want my dogs to be off leash and run around without collars, without harnesses, and just be free. So now we do it on our terms, on the small holding and things like that, because I hate the collar. I hate the leash. They only get their harnesses on when we go to the vet. That's all.
Yeah, I have to sometimes use harness on packs in the city. I use a front clip harness called Perfect Fit. It's made in the UK. We do carry it in North America just because I wanted to offer some sort of solution. When it comes to leashes, I don't really like the nylon leashes. Obviously, not very. They're really kind of like sharp. They cut your hand if a dog pulls. I was very lucky to run across a leash on an island called Boyne Island nearby Vancouver in a pet store, and it was made of real wool, felted wool. And it was amazing. It was like 15 years ago, and I've been using this leash, and we actually have been offering it, and this native lady from Canada was making it until this year, and now she retired, and now we are actually trying to figure out what we're going to do. And I think that we found a co-op in Peru, and they'll be making it of wool core and alpaca soft shell. So it's going to be really nice, and it's springy because it's super strong, but
natural.
It's springy. Yeah, and it's natural material. So I'm super excited about that. And we call it Gentle Leash. But I'm not even sure whether it's available now. anymore. I think that we are out. But you know, leashes are important, and they should also be light. They shouldn't be too heavy, right? So dogs don't get weighted too much.
The damage, Peter, doctor, the damage is that.
You can call me Peter. It's absolutely
okay,
fine.
great. Thank you. The damage that could potentially be caused, does that progress over years? You know, like I've used.
It's cumulative. It's like absolutely, it's cumulative, and it can get worse. Like yesterday, I examined a dog of my friend, and unfortunately, she had a cruciate ligament tear. She's a spayed female, has a cruciate ligament tear. Spay, neuter, and cruciate ligament tears are connected, and there is like much higher rate of that. But she also had a neck injury. I looked at her, and I could see that she was limping in the front as well. When dogs injure their back, they start putting their weight on the front, and she had a neck injury from a collar. So luckily, her mom was very open, and she kind of got it, and I think that she's going to be okay. But one jerk, there's a saying that I use a lot. One jerk can cause a lot of damage, and you can apply it to your whole life, including leashes and collars,
including or real jerks.
Including real jerks.
Is there maybe like a check that you can show our audience that they can do with their dog right now, just like a physical check to see if there's
physical check? Like okay, I would have to call PAX. Oh my goodness! I don't know.
Call PAX.
I have to grab some treats or something.
Cool.
I'm not sure whether I have any. Just a sec. Nearby.
Are we waking him up now?
That's so unfair.
Maxie. He's outside. Come on up. He's very malnourished, as you can see. He's he needs to get some kibble. Actually, this is a dehydrated treat. Oh my goodness. So I normally would position him just in between my legs, but what I normally do, I position him in between our legs, and I would press from the head with both thumbs, and I compare the level of pressure to trying to imagine you have cheddar cheese and you try to make a dimple in it. So that kind of pressure, quite a bit. And, if sometimes when you go kind of along the spine, you can feel heat, you may feel a little tremble of the muscles or tightness of the muscles. Actually, he's got a little tiny bit on the right side now. We will have to do some laser therapy tonight, because he was playing with me with a little toy and he was pulling on it. I don't really like to play tug of war much, but Pax has a different opinion. And the muscle tremble, sometimes they would look back. You can also run your hand above the spine, above the whole spine, and you will notice that there is almost like a heat or coolness or breeze or kind of almost like a stillness or congestion. If you practice that, you will see that there's a difference. Like, I examine my patients by just running my hand along the spine, and it would happen that let's say you examine the interscapular region, and if it's really sensitive, often the heart or the lungs are affected. I remember one time I would examine a dog. You can lie down. No, you don't want to. Do you want to stay here? Okay, you can stay here. No, okay. Give me a paw. He's gonna be strike. He's not a. You're not a show pony, yeah.
It's like it's unfair.
What was that?
I said it's late. It's unfair. It's unfair towards him. He wants to sleep.
Yeah. No. He didn't want to sleep. He's quite keen. Anyway, one time I remember I examined dog's spine and the liver points, which are the thoracic 9, 10, around that area, 11, liver and spleen. The dog just jumped up really dramatically when I touched that spot. And so we did an ultrasound and X-ray, and we found a big tumor. So again, like I've been seeing this connection with nerve injuries and musculoskeletal injuries and tumors a lot. But now there's a research study, which is great. And Pax is saying goodbye.
Cheers, Pax.
Thank you, Paxi.
Listen, guys, I don't want to be the one that is the party pooper here, but I know we're going to be cut off any minute soon because we are over an hour already. So I'm just going to say it again because tonight is the big marketing talk. If you want to see more of the amazing Dr. Peter Dobias, please book your ticket. You're going to spend 2 amazing days with him, and you can actually meet him in person if you're there. But if you're not there, you're not going to meet him in person.
I'll be there and I'll be available
sales
answering questions. And I really enjoy these connections. You know, it makes me feel like my work is worth it. Otherwise, if I was hiding behind the computer, it's different. So I'll be there, and I'm going to be there for you all. So if you want to meet me, I'd love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know we took some time out of your busy schedule. Really thank you for joining us tonight, and for everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday.
And thank you for the invite. Take care, and I'll see you soon, very soon. I'll be able to give you a hug.
Keep well. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.